We have coffee, caramel or Turkish leche, lemon, and strawberry. This is one cake used to make 4 different amazing tres leches flavors. This recipe is perfect for parties and get-togethers because you can have a flavor that everyone will enjoy. Honestly, every single one of these flavors is amazing. It is so hard to pick a fave, but personally, I would have to choose the coffee. So without further ado, let me show you how I made this. The first thing that we're going to do is make the sponge cake, which is then going to be divided into 4 parts for the 4 flavors. In a large bowl, beat 4 egg whites using an electric hand or stand mixer or even a whisk until frothy. Then, while beating, we're going to gradually add in about a half a cup of granulated sugar and then continue to beat this until stiff peaks form. If we're using an electric mixer, this process takes about 6 to 7 minutes. The entire written recipe for this is available on my blog, and you can find a link to that in the description box below, so make sure to click that to check it out. You'll find the detailed instructions along with the ingredients and tips and tricks. Once stiff peaks is formed, we're going to set this aside, and in a separate medium bowl, we're going to combine together egg yolks and another 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. I'm going to use the same electric mixer to beat this until the mixture is a little bit lighter in color and fluffier. Next goes in some vegetable oil, water, and vanilla extract. I use this sponge cake recipe as a base for all of my tres leches recipes, so make sure to check out my other recipes. I even have one for a regular size caramel tres leches and even a cinnamon and cardamom one. Next, I'm going to add in the dry ingredients, which includes all-purpose flour, baking powder, and salt. Give this a mix until all of the ingredients are fully incorporated. This mixture is going to be a little bit thick, so it will be a little bit difficult to mix. Now we're going to bring back the whipped egg whites, and for some reason I forgot to hit record, but you're going to add in 1/3 of the egg whites into the egg yolk mixture and then fold to combine. This is going to help loosen it out so that when we add it into the egg whites, it's going to be easier to combine. Now I'm adding this egg yolk mixture back into the whipped egg whites, and then we're going to very carefully this time fold all of this together until everything is fully incorporated. You want to be very gentle at this point because we don't want to get rid of all of that air that we whipped into the egg whites. Once both mixtures are fully incorporated, stop folding because we don't want to overmix this batter. Transfer the batter into a greased and lined 10-inch square baking tray, and then we're going to spread this out using a spatula and then bake at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 to 25 minutes or until a toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean. Now, once your cake is baked, you want to let that cool down completely, and in the meantime, we're going to make the milk mixture. For the milk mixture, in a large bowl, combine together whole milk, heavy cream, and condensed milk. You don't want to skimp on the milk here. Use full fat milk. It is going to give you the creamiest tres leches ever. Give this a mix, and then we're going to divide this into 4 separate bowls for the 4 flavors. As you can see here, I've added my milks into 4 smaller bowls, and then we're going to go ahead and add in the flavorings. For the lemon tres leches, I'm going to add in about a tablespoon of lemon zest into one of the bowls and give this a mix. And then for the coffee one, I'm adding a mixture of instant coffee and water. And for the strawberry milk, I'm using strawberry milk that I bought from the store. And for the caramel, I'm going to leave it as is. We're going to set these aside because we're done with it for now. Just make sure to strain your lemon milk before adding it onto the cake. Not right now, right before you add it onto the cake. Now, for the whipped cream topping, I'm beating together some cold heavy whipping cream and powdered sugar until stiff peaks form. Make sure your heavy cream has a fat percentage of 35% or higher, otherwise it's not going to whip up into stiff peaks. Here is the cream. It is silky smooth, and for the flavors, I'm going to take out 1/4 of this cream into a separate bowl. The rest can stay there because we're not going to do anything to that. I'm adding a tablespoon of coffee into this cream, and this is going to be the topping for our coffee tres leches. Give this a mix, and you're going to place all of this in the refrigerator until you're ready to assemble the cake. The other 3 flavors for the tres leches is going to be topped with just plain whipped cream. The cake is baked and is fully cooled. I'm going to flip it over onto another piece of parchment paper, remove the parchment paper on the back, and this is going to be the top of our cake. I'm going to divide this into 4 equal squares. You can use a ruler or just eyeball it. Place each cake in a separate serving dish, and then I'm going to use a toothpick to poke holes all over each piece of cake. This is going to help the milk soak absorb into the cake much faster. Now I'm going to add on the milk soaks. For the caramel, it's the plain milk that we didn't do anything to. Make sure to add all of that milk. It's going to look like a lot, but in time, the cake is going to soak up everything. That is my lemon one. I did strain it to get rid of the lemon zest before adding it onto the cake. And there goes the coffee milk, and then finally I'm going to add in the strawberry milk. Now a quick tip when you're doing this is not to do them right next to each other. I accidentally splashed this one and a little bit of strawberry milk might have fallen into the lemon one, but it was just a little bit, so it's okay. Now once that's done, I'm going to place these in the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes to let the milk soak up. It's been 30 minutes, so let's finish off these cakes. I'm going to start off with the caramel one. I'm adding a generous amount of whipped cream. This is just plain whipped cream that we made earlier, and then I'm going to spread that out evenly. I'm adding my homemade salted caramel sauce on top of this. You can use store-bought or check out my recipe. I will leave a link to that in the description box below, and you can also find it on the article. We're going to chill this and move on to the coffee one. I'm adding the coffee flavored whipped cream that we made earlier, and then I'm just going to spread that out nice and neatly. For the coffee one, I'm going to top it with some cocoa powder, but I'm going to do that right before serving because we don't want the cocoa powder to become wet. This is the lemon one. I'm adding some more plain whipped cream for the lemon one as well, spreading that out nice and neatly, and then I'm topping it off with my homemade lemon curd. Again, you can find the recipe for that on the blog as well as down in the description box below or even on my YouTube channel. Again, you can also use store-bought lemon curd and store-bought toppings for all of these cakes. I decorated this with little lines and like swirls. You'll see later what I'm talking about. You can leave it plain or do whatever you'd like with it. What I did was add some whipped cream into a Ziploc bag, and then I made lines all over the cake, then use a toothpick to just go through the lines back and forth like this. I'm going to pop that in the refrigerator and work on the last one, which is the strawberry tres leches. I'm topping this one off with the last portion of whipped cream frosting and then spread that out. Now for the topping, I used homemade strawberry sauce. I made this with frozen strawberries. You can find a link to the recipe in the description box below as well as on the written recipe, or you can even use store-bought strawberry sauce to make this process even faster. As I mentioned before, you can use homemade or store-bought sauces for the top. There's caramel sauce, there's strawberry sauce, and lemon curd. You can make them yourself about 2 to 3 days ahead or even buy them at the store to make this way quicker. For the decoration, I did the same thing that I did for the lemon one, and then I popped that in the refrigerator as well. I'm going to let all 4 of them chill for another 30 minutes at least before serving. And before serving, I'm going to also dust on cocoa powder onto my coffee one, and that's it. All 4 of our tres leches are now ready to dig in. And here they are, the tres leches are ready to go. I love every single one of these flavors, but if I had to pick one, I would pick the coffee one. It's just bursting with coffee flavor, and I love the cocoa powder on top. This recipe is perfect for parties and get-togethers because of the variety of flavors, and you can even experiment and make your own flavors. The sponge cake is soft and fluffy, and it is soaked with that milk mixture, and the topping is so fluffy and amazing. And if you want to make just one flavor, you can do that as well. I have a bunch of other tres leches recipes. I will leave all of them in the description box below. And to make this recipe even quicker, the toppings like lemon curd, strawberry sauce, and salted caramel sauce can all be made about a week ahead, and you can even make the cake a day ahead. If you haven't already, remember to subscribe to the Food Flamingo for more easy and delicious recipes just like this one. Like the video if you liked it, and comment down below if you tried the recipe or if there's anything else you'd like me to make. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And I know this recipe is a little bit more complicated than my usual recipes, but a little bit more effort gives you the most amazing results.